Hello, WCW, and welcome to the Week 5 recap. With me, as always, Mr. Trueblue. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just tired. I know you're tired too. So let's just fight through this and do this recap.
Absolutely. Let's see what we've got going on the last week. So, first up, in the Nelson division, we had Orkney Harder versus the Goldblood Knights, and it looks like the Orcs came out with a win there. So that was... I'm sorry, I'm scatterbrained today. Orkney Harder is Crychair.
Crychair.
Yep. Versus...
Grazy.
And
Grazy's in chat, so Grazy, do you have anything to say about the game? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
While we're waiting for that, how did we do on the predictions for that matchup?
So I went Crychair, and then you went. Oh wait, who won again?
Orkney Harder took that down, is what we showed.
Oh, dude, I got a game on you. I marked that wrong on the recap.
So.
Oh yeah.
Picking up a game. Orkney Harder versus the Goldblood Knights. Yep, absolutely. And
just a sad loss. So we're tied.
Taking a quick peek at the team, is this new? This Agi4 Blitzer wasn't here before, was it?
He's had an Agi4 piece for a while, I think.
Oh, okay. Then I just have a bad memory today. I remember talking about the movement up thrower, but I did not remember the Agi4 Blitzer. I love Agi ups on pieces like this.
Oh, you're talking about... I thought you were talking about the Bretts.
No, I'm talking about the Orcs. Yeah, the Orcs have an Agi up Blitzer now.
Oh, yeah. He has a sweet team now.
Yep. Still very low on the development side, but great development where it's at. We've picked up block on a Black Orc. We've got 2 Black Orcs who need that famous Black Orc Vanity Pass. But yeah, picking up an Agi piece, I almost think that becomes your de facto ball carrier, in my mind. What do you think?
I don't think it has to become the ball carrier because most people's problems with the Orc thrower is that it's so slow.
Right.
Having a movement 6 thrower, I think you can kind of live with it because it has sure hands, has pass. But all of a sudden, that Blitzer, it can become like a guard piece that can be your emergency scoring threat at any given time.
Yeah, it definitely becomes a lot more mobile. Yeah, so it can go wherever it wants. And it could actually become a reception piece because pass is a real skill. So you can make some decent short passing plays. You're obviously not going to be making the bombs some of the elf teams make, but making a short pass play to even if this mark is marked. It's still a 3-up to make that reception, so that's a good tool for the team.
Yeah, it's a super good tool. All of a sudden, he has more scoring threats, which Orcs desperately need.
Yep.
And Gracie said that was just a sad loss. Next game up, we have the Boba's Boys versus PU2, and this is what we're talking about with public scheduling. I've gotten DMs from both coaches that have shown different things. Just publicly schedule. It's the only way that we can remain unbiased.
Yep.
Moving
on. Woody Wardancer and Company takes a 3-0 versus the Castlevania Rejects. I don't think either one of us predicted that, did we?
I predicted that. We both predicted Velociraptor, and I think we thought it'd be closer because he had his sure hands piece. Oh god. Look at Tetsuya's team. Oh god.
Uh-oh. 1,110. That's a little bit low. We have a armored down Agi up Ghoul. Oh no. That's unfortunate.
If it happened on a bolt down, it was earned because it should have been blocked there.
Yep. Well, we will have to find out what happened to Shaft.
Yeah.
That is important information. But that's
yeah.
I don't think you can fire that piece, can you?
You could. It's a piece that already you can't protect, and it's going to be harder to protect now. I just wish it had Blodge.
It will be harder.
I think if it had Blodge, it's more durable.
Yeah, it will absolutely be more durable, but once it picks up Dodge, Blodge, once it has block, it's going to become pretty tough, but Armor 6 is a rough breaking point. Like, the difference between Armor 8 and Armor 7 isn't that big of a deal. The difference between Armor 7 and Armor 6 kind of is.
Yeah.
It's a big percentage.
You're in halfling territory.
Yep. I don't know. But Agi 4, I would be tempted to keep it around. I'm not sure.
Grazy says I need to kill those Necros so badly that he lose to the goblins.
Oh, man. Did we pick up anything interesting on the Wood Elf side?
It's just a healthy-looking team. Remember a couple weeks ago when we were just like, oh, it's in a death spiral. Look at that death spiral.
Yep. It's on an 11 healthy players and a 12th one with a movement bust, but a movement busted lineman is fine, right? Like, you keep that around. Yeah. Give it wrestle or block here in a little bit and just let it do its thing on the line until it dies.
Yeah. And he has a tree, which I think we're all clamoring for.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a team that looks healthy enough. It has enough playmakers that I think it can make a run in the playoffs.
Absolutely. It doesn't take much for a Wood Elf team to have everything it needs.
Yeah. A wizard and a dream. That's all Wood Elves need.
Absolutely. All right. Next up, Killer Confessions versus the Bavarian Knights. Sorry about this. My dog cannot make up his mind which side of the door he wants to be on. I'm sure you can hear the door opening, closing, opening, closing. Killer Confessions versus the Bavarian Knights. Killer Confessions takes it down 1-0. That is Pookie's Undead versus... I'm trying to remember who the Brett team is. The Barovian Knights is Captain Blood. So this was a pretty close matchup. How did the predictions come down on this one?
I went with Puke, you went with Captain Blood, and take a look at Puke's team. So he got rewarded.
Yeah. Movement.
Even though he's going heavily on the skeletons. I don't agree with that, but it's whatever. I just think 88 is better than 87 thick skull. But the movement, that's debatable.
Yeah. I'm okay with the skeletons. I think that's one of those things where the generally accepted wisdom is that the zombies are better. But it's not by a lot, right?
Yeah.
Armor 8's not that different than Armor 7. Movement 5 is quite a bit better than Movement 4. Still would love to see a dirty player somewhere on one of those skeletons, but I
don't hate it because his linemen aren't getting SPP.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a good thing. You want your SPP where it's going, which is a great thing. Still, with 13 players, I want a dirty player. How do you feel about the movement up Mummy? That had to be 6+4, right? Because if it's not 6+4...
It was 6-4. Okay. It was 6-4. Puke immediately messaged me, and I told him you take movement every day of the week. Because if it gets knocked down, all of a sudden, you don't have to do a GFI to move a square.
Right. Yep.
You can move one square kind of where you want it to go. And I like it just because it means that you have better pacing. You have a little bit better of a pivot point. That's what I see.
Yep. I can get behind that. I have not played Undead that much, but I definitely can see where 3 movement is hugely limiting. It's very strange. Like, movement 9 is not that different from movement 8, but movement 4 is way different than movement 3.
Yeah. And Puke says should have been a draw. He forgot to blitz, and the removal rate was exactly the same.
Wow.
Was it? Or are we just forgetting to mention that stuff enough?
Let's take a look.
Pretty much the same, but he threw 20 less blocks. Damn.
We do still have the agility up piece on the Bretts, so I'm glad to see that he's still hanging in there. That is the most important piece on the team.
Oh, Val, I see what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that Armor 7, like, it won't get removed as often, but you're just going to get stunned more often. So that's why I was talking about Valk. Which, being stunned, it just hurts a lot when you're trying to get forward progression.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, taking a peek at the leaderboard, a Velociraptor still sitting strongly at the top, 4-1-0. So, technically undefeated. Looking to more or less run away with it at this point. Crychair with Orc Me Harder and the Gold Blood Knights, actually all the players on 2-1-2, they need to win out Week 6 and Week 7 just to get to an equal number of wins. So one more win for a Velociraptor locks this division.
One more draw locks this division with just him making playoffs.
A draw does not lock the division. Well, with him making playoffs, but it doesn't lock the win for the division.
Yeah. A draw just gives him at least the playoffs. And
yeah. A draw
that's
for
all you really
playoffs.
Need. That isn't bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's a good position to be in. A win will lock it outright. So a Velociraptor looking to pick up a win to make the playoff berth, and as you mentioned, probably looking to make a fairly deep run in it.
Yeah, and this is going to be hotly contested for the second seed.
Second seed
because
is going to be
Crychair. Yeah, you have Crychair, Ultra, or Grazy, Tetsuya, Puke. They're all at 2 wins.
Yep.
There's 1 point difference between all of them.
Yep.
This is going to be insane.
Crychair is in a little bit better shape than the rest because it does have an additional draw.
Yeah, it's not a huge thing.
That is a point.
Because he's going to be playing Puke Week 7.
Yep.
I just took a sneak peek at the schedule, so all of a sudden, this has just become the most competitive playoff race, and I think all of WCW.
So, who do we have? Puke's playing the Gold Blood Knights, which is I'm just looking to see if we have more. So yeah, Puke is actually both of Puke's games coming up are big ones. Playing the Gold Blood Knights Week 6, and then playing Crychair Week 7. Wins.
So basically, Puke's playoffs start now.
Yeah,
that's all I'm hearing.
Yeah, Puke is in full control of his destiny to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's win or go home right now. This is the playoffs of the regular season.
Absolutely. So that said, let's get into our predictions for Week 6 for Nelson. First up, we have PU2 versus Orc Me Harder. So that is...
Rusty versus Crychair.
Rusty versus Crychair. So we have the Orcs versus the Nurgle. The Nurgle team, though, at this point has kick and no other skills, some SPP spread around the team, but no claw, no mighty blow.
Enough cash. They have enough cash to get a Beast Nurgle. So
does have the money to buy a Beast Nurgle, so that could be a good pickup for this team to increase the strength on the line. But does not have any of the things. So typically, whenever I think Nurgle versus Orcs, I'm thinking about Claw, Mighty Blow, remove all the Black Orcs, game. But that's not going to be the case here. Crychair, on the other hand, has picked up mostly stat ups. So only 1 guard piece, 1 extra block piece, only on 11 orcs, so...
It's still 5 more block pieces than Rusty has.
5 more block pieces.
It's 1 more guard.
1 more guard.
4 agility.
Yep. The edge right now is definitely in Crychair's favor.
Yeah, I have to go Crychair, personally.
Yep. I think I have to agree with you. Just skill-wise, Nurgle is so hard to get it done early on. They're just more prone to 1 in 9s, more prone to, everything. And the Orc team, The Beast of Nurgle could be somewhat important in this game because that would swing the strength advantage over in the favor of the Nurgle team.
It would swing it, but the skill advantage is still heavily in Crychair's favor.
Absolutely.
And I think that this is a game where Crychair should win unless something crazy happens. Legit, Blood Bowl, something crazy might happen.
It doesn't even have to be that crazy for something to happen. If we pick up a Beast of Nurgle, and then, the Nurgle team receives first and gets a couple of removals. And it doesn't even have to be injuries, just KOs or whatever. They're able to score, gets a good foul in here or there on 12 players instead of 11. It is doable. It's just avoiding the 1-9s and at least the early 1-9s and getting a couple of lucky early removals against the Orcs. That'll be tough to do with that Orc armor, but it is... I mean, it's not completely out of the question.
Yeah.
But
it's not out of the question, but I don't think it'll happen. It'll be tough for it to happen.
Yep, I think we both agree Crychair's got the edge in that one. So, next matchup, the Castlevania Rejects versus the Goldblood Knights. That is Tetsuya versus Captain Blood, correct? Or Grazy,
yeah,
Grazy.
Tetsuya versus Grazy.
Ultra's Grazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Grazy is going up against... still no development on these poor wolves.
Yeah, I think he's been kind of handicapping himself with the Agi 4 piece, which makes sense because it's pretty sweet.
It is. That's the thing about good pieces, they tend to start soaking up all your SPP.
Yeah.
We'll not have that problem this week, so... this is going to be a tough match. He will actually be... The Castlevania Rejects will be picking up inducements to about 90k worth.
Oh man, that's probably going to be a bribe if I know Tetsuya.
Probably going to be a bribe. Only 11 players for the Bretonians, and we do have 12 players on the Necro side of things. So.
This is a toss-up, man.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting game.
I'm gonna go Grazy. I'm just gonna go Grazy. He has impressed me when we played earlier.
Okay,
I lucked out to beat him in a round robin. Round robin.
I think that makes the pick easy for me because I was tempted to go Tetsuya on this one, and if you're going Grazy, I'll go Tetsuya. But this will be a very close matchup. I think in my mind, this matchup rests on do the lineman armor and some of this AV8 armor hold up.
Yeah.
If that armor holds up, then they're golden. If it starts to break down, it's going to be a Necro win.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy game. I think that's going to be a very, very close game. And it's for playoff potential. So this is another game where playoffs are already starting.
So next up, Barovian Knights versus Debulba's Voice. So this is Captain Blood versus Debulba, the Goblin team. So Brett's versus Goblins. Goblins picking up 160k in inducements, is that correct? Making sure they don't have any... No, they got a full squad out there. So 160k in inducements, they get the full complement of bribes. What do you think?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. This is a game where do the secret weapons go off?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a big deal. But I think there's just too many base skills where there's wrestle, block, there's some guard, an Agi 4 piece. I think Captain Blood should win this game.
I hear you on that. I definitely can see exactly where you're coming from. The Bretonians have the more how do you say it? The more standard complement, the more reliable set of skills. Goblins definitely have a shot. This is right where they want to be, inducements wise, picking up the full set of bribes. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the Bretonnians, though. I think I agree with you on that one. This is a game the Goblins could absolutely pick up, but there's just so much dice involved. You never, like, picking Goblins is always just pulling the slot machine, right? Do the Goblins go off?
Yeah, and I have been going with the Goblins pretty much all season. Let's see, I went with them once, twice, three times already.
Paid off for you early.
It paid off for me week one.
Mm-hmm.
It did pay off for me week one.
All right.
Yeah, so 5 times I think I've gone with the Goblins. That's crazy.
So next up we have Puke versus a Velociraptor, the Killer Confessions versus Woody Wardancer and Company. What do you got for me?
Let me take a quick look at Puke's team.
Yep, the movement up Mummy, strength up Mighty Blow on a white. We got a Blodger, we got a Dodge Sure Hands Ghoul, so a couple of good ghouls.
Ooh. They have Sure Hands, that's what I was mainly looking for.
Yep, does have Sure Hands on a ghoul. But it is only a Dodge Ghoul, not a Blodge Ghoul.
Yeah, I think... Oh, he's going to get, what, 50k in inducements, so... How much cash does he have? Because with the playoffs technically starting now, I wouldn't be upset if I saw him throw in 50k and get a bribe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you try to snowball this game if you're Puke. It's going to be a tough game, though. Ooh. I just have to go with Velociraptor. He's been winning. Yep. It's going to be a close game, though.
It absolutely is going to be a close game. I think I'm going to go with Puke on this one. I like the number of players that he has, and I think he has the tools to snowball if he picks up a bribe and fouls liberally. And if we're able to see one of those Wardancers fall to, maybe a leap, giving away some advanced tactics, I would be tempted to carry on the Blodger rather than the Sure Hands Ghoul and just keep the Sure Hands Ghoul in a good recovery position to bait in a leap to the cage.
To bait in a leap, but that's still risky play.
If you can limit the recovery options of the Wood Elf team, and they go for the strip ball play and fail it, the payoff is so huge getting that Wardancer off the field.
Yeah. It is huge, but it's just such a risky play. See, we can just debate on how to play Blood Bowl all day, every day, but it's going to be a close game regardless.
I'm just throwing some of my thoughts out there, and it's a little unconventional. Not everyone would play it that way, but I tend to like some of the baiting plays. But that said, yeah. I think that covers our predictions for Nelson. Going to be an important week. Looking forward to seeing how those games turn out and where the leaderboard sits next week. We should have a clear playoff picture for the race for week 2 next week. I mean, it'll all come down to next week.
Yeah.
So
and let's we already looked at the leaderboard, so let's continue on to Dillinger.
Moving over to Dillinger, first up, we have Who Wants a Woody versus the Hellspawn Violators, and believe it or not, Squint's running away with it 2-1.
Who would have predicted that? Both of us.
Everybody.
Actually,
everybody predicts this team.
That one was RK had something come up, so they couldn't get the game in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That said, the Wardancer picked up the points, so
yeah.
Do we know what this level is yet?
If he knows it, he hasn't told me. But I immediately messaged him after I did that admin result, and I was just like, "You lucky son of a bitch."
Yep. up to a healthy 7 players with 130K in the bank, that could be a tree, correct?
He already has a tree.
Oh, no, already has the tree. Yeah, 120 is the tree. So, at this point, we've got 2 catchers. We're probably just gunning for linemen.
You could get a lineman. You could get a thrower. You could get a catcher. You're in a better spot.
Already having 2 catchers, I think you just want line meat, in my opinion. Like, yeah. Because you don't want to have to be putting, like, catchers on the line. You still have loners for the line, but you want to start leveling up some of those linemen. I think it's time to start investing in just guys that don't have loner.
Yeah.
So
his team is just green fireball bait. It is.
Yep. So not much to talk about that game since didn't actually happen. Next up, Cithril Wardens versus the Women of War, 2-0 for Duberman.
Yeah. So this was a game where LC messaged me after the game, and Duberman threw a ton of blocks, from what I heard.
Let's take a look at the stats then. Going into the statistics, 42 versus 40 blocks. Like, wow, that is a lot of blocks for this matchup.
Yeah.
And only 1 injury inflicted, and 40 blocks, and no
KOs and no injuries.
No KOs, wow.
Yeah.
How many armor breaks did we have?
16 POWs for the Cithril Wardens versus push heavy dice for LC.
40 successful blocks. Only 23 of those blocks were knockdowns. On 23 blocks,
oh wow!
Armor 7 held up 73% of the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Armor 7's not supposed to hold like that.
Well, looking at the other side of the dice, Armor 7 held up 65% of the time, which is about what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, results not crazy enough that I would call it a dicing, but those are some interesting numbers.
They are. And his team looks healthy. Duberman's team, it has a Movement 9 War Dancer with Strip Ball. That thing gets everywhere. It's automatically the most annoying piece on the field.
Wow. Let's take a look at that. That's the Cithril Wardens. 990 team value. These low team value. Yeah, Movement 9 on a War Dancer is absolutely insane. If you roll another movement up, do you try and turn that into a one-turner? You don't do that with a War Dancer, do you? I don't think you can. Maybe you do.
I think you take the Movement 10, but I don't know. But look at this. A Movement down, a Movement busted, a Blitzer with a guard for LC. That's gotta hurt.
That's a bummer, but that's not that bad. You still keep the piece, and she's still going to be able to do her job. Yeah, she's a little bit slower, but, Amazons tend to play a grindy game anyways. It's not like they're sprinting out anywhere.
Yeah. This team is bound to get more dodge eventually. Not dodge, block, and just have dodge all over.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see how LC develops this team going forward.
I would like to see some branching out on some of the skills on some of these other players. Block, obviously, on anything that doesn't already have block, but I would like to start seeing some tackle, some mighty blow. Probably mighty blow first, then some tackle, and just some other skills to complement the blodge. But yeah, they... The amazing thing about this is you start seeing all this blodge and all these guard and all this, and it's 1060 team value. So
yeah, it's really 1170, just if you include the M&G.
1170 with that number of good skills is very efficient.
It's insane.
Very efficient.
This is why Zons are annoying.
Yep, absolutely. So next up, the Weekend Times crew versus We Have the Meats. We Have the Meats picking it up 1-0.
Corrigan, her team and doesn't quite have all the development yet. it's getting really close to just being a good Lister team.
I think we've been talking about Beefsteak and Prime Rib being on 4 of 6 SPP since like week 2. It feels that way anyways. Like these guys just need a Kaz or an MVP or anything, and unfortunately not picking it up.
Those dang skinks. Ooh, this is new. Take a look at Moxie's team.
Let's take a peek over at the Weekend Times crew. Strength up on a blitzer. That's a beautiful piece.
Oh yeah.
So.
That is a sweet piece.
Just one strength up away from being a Lizard Man team themselves.
Yeah. Although, if you get that extra strength up, an attrition fireball will kill 2 strength 4 things.
Very true, very true. The one thing I will say about Moxie's team while we're taking a peek at it, I love this type of development where we have a Mighty Blow piece, a Tackle piece, a Blodge piece. You're picking up different tools for different jobs. And I know some people don't like developing in that way because really you want this Mighty Blow to eventually be Mighty Blow Tackle piling on, right? And now you've picked up Tackle on this piece, so you want it to be built in maybe a similar fashion. But all that said, having these different tools to fill these different roles early on really makes you a more dynamic team, in my mind. That's the way I tend to build teams, picking up different tools across the players.
Yeah, I think it's good to have some specialized pieces and some more general. Mm-hmm. Like Woody, for example, he's never going to get piling on unless you're a Big O coach by the name of Pop It Nasty. But but you're going to give him Mighty Blow, you're going to give him Guard, and he's just a good jack of all trades piece.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's all you really want. Like, you want some jack of all trades, so that way you have good, just foundation pieces for your other pieces to do what they do best.
Yep, absolutely. So, good pickup for Corrigan, and good development coming around on both teams. So, looking forward to see how these teams fare going forward in the finals of the season and into next season.
And Val, I need you to speak up because you were my lock of the week. You were supposed to win, and you tied. How did this happen? I need to know.
It was a fun game. It was a fun game. Looking at the statistics, we punched a lot of things. We KO'd a lot of things, but apparently not enough. Yeah. Some of these stats, 18% occupation in opponent's half. But only 25% occupation in own half. Just some things like that.
I should have won 3 times.
I also should have won 3 times. Just want to share that.
So it was just a close game and it was a tie. Yeah, that's what we got to.
It was a close game and it was a tie. That really was all there was to it. The highlight of the match, and I think Valkyrie would agree with this, is on, I think it was turn 3 or so, my guard catcher, my new toy from last week, leaped into a cage, followed by a leap and a sack play that was a successful sack, but that did leave my guard catcher standing next to his Mighty Blow blitzer, and the catcher got punched into dead, into Apo, into just fine.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Yep.
Apparently there was a miracle scatter for you.
Yes, there was. There was some good scatters. There was a sacking play where I believe he sacked my ball carrier, or the ball was on the ground. I don't remember which. But I had a marked blitzer that the ball scattered into his hands, and he just snatched it out of the air after the blitz was already used for the turn, so he was perfectly safe standing next to 3 or 4 Wood Elves.
Oh man, you're supposed to win for me though. That was the thing. That was the deal. All right, moving on. Never picking Valk again.
So taking a peek at the leaderboard over here, Still looking pretty similar to what we had last week. We have Who Wants a Woody, Squints continuing to dominate, but not dominate so much that he's a lock. He could still get knocked out of this over the next coming couple of weeks. 500 on the leaderboard. Next up,
I think with the wild card, I think Squints is locked.
Actually, he may be locked with the spoiler that's here. If it was 401 and, well, actually, let's take a peek at the spoiler. No, the Sithral Wardens picked that up. Never mind. So, yeah, I was thinking if it was 410 and 401, he would not necessarily be locked, but I think he may be now. Yeah, so the battle for second place, Valk versus Duberman. This is the season of elves over here in Dillinger.
Yeah, elves have absolutely dominated, and it's going to be fun. So we have. Are we already taking a look at next week's games?
We're about to do so, and the first up is Firstborn of Arda versus Who Wants a Woody. And I'm just curious. Okay, no, we don't have any big deciders. So no one's fate is in their own hands, apparently. So we have Firstborn of Arda, though, does have Squints this week, so that's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, and this is what Valk gets for not beating you. He's going to lose this week. Squints is going to absolutely dominate him, and it's not even going to be funny.
I tend to agree. Squints just has a ridiculous team. Despite it only being 6 players, he is a good coach, but he has a ridiculous team, and Wood Elves in the hands of a good coach, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. All right, next up. Let's see. I'm being pinged. Okay. All right, moving on.
Wait, Valk asked how many inducements is he getting? Let's take a look real quick. So, calculating Squints' team value, he's 12-10 right now. He has 5, 6, 7 players. So he's getting 4 loners at 70k apiece. So that's 140, 280. So he's 1490 Wood Elves. Firstborn of Arda are picking up 270k. So 1490 versus 10 11 10, I believe it is.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm messaging someone in Windy City.
So let me break out my old calculator here. 1490 minus 1110, and I may have these numbers wrong, but I'm saying 380 is what I think you're getting in inducements. So 380 in inducements is Strength 4 Tackle Elf, is what Valk is saying. Could also be like a wizard and something, although I don't know if I like a wizard and elf versus elf matches.
I think a wizard definitely makes sense, but star player might be more beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
It really just depends. I'm not familiar with high elf star players, so I can't tell you anything.
I'm not sure either, so that's that will be interesting to see how those inducements go down. A lot of inducements going over to the Firstborn of Arda. So Valk, good luck, but we're both betting against you. Next up, we have my matchup, so you already know my pick. WCW, Grin and Barrett versus the Weekend Times crew. So this is the silly Kislev versus the amazing Orcs. So let me take a look at the Orcs that I'm up. Okay, this is my Lizardman matchup.
Yeah,
Lizardman versus. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think Moxie's got this versus you.
You think? You always say that though in every matchup that they've got it. They've got it. No.
Yeah, well, the thing is that
2
Case
guard
Loves just suck. Case Loves suck. So you need to get to like 1800 TV before they don't suck.
That's not
And
true.
that's when I'll
You just
start making them.
you just need to roll like 4 agi ups, and then they don't suck.
Yeah, and I had half of that on my team, and that 1440, and they still suck.
But they're fun. No, I've got the dream. I've got a guard catcher, and I've got a wrestle lineman. It's the dream. That's all you need. Wrestle guard and a dream.
Wrestle guard in the dream.
That's it. That's it.
And then I'm going with the team that has more Mighty Blow, more reliable Mighty Blow too.
Yep.
So.
I will be picking up 120. I will not be splurging for a wizard, but I will pick up something in inducements, probably an extra Apo because I'm afraid of losing guards at this point. But we'll see. It'll be a good game, but I'm betting on myself as always. Have to. It is just the rule. Next up, we have the Meats versus Women of War, Lizards versus Amazons, the classic matchup of who wears the feathers better.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this one for a minute. Looking at the teams, it kind of already tells me who's going to win. And it's going to be LC, just because there's only one block piece on all the Lizards.
Mm-hmm. And no tackle.
Yeah, no tackle. There's one diving tackle, which could be annoying, but I don't know if it'll be that annoying.
Yep. And the couple of guard pieces, a lot of block pieces. It will matter if the skinks can do some skink bullshit. That is something that can definitely upset this game. But I think I tend to agree. I would go with the Amazons at this at the current team value, current juncture. Amazons are on 1160, so they will be picking up 100. No, they'll be picking up 80k in inducements on the Lizards. So that could be a bribe. That could be like an extra induced line woman, or maybe just a babe. But still, I think I agree. And nothing to talk about on the last matchup because it's already been played. Yep.
Duberman did his thing.
Duberman did Duberman things to the Hellspawn Violators, so nothing to talk
The
about.
The Hellspawn Violators, I just feel bad. They've just been this team's whipping boy ever since. Oh, this division's whipping boy ever since Valk annihilated them week 1.
Valk, you really owe. I am just.
Everyone just owes Valk a cake. Everyone owes Valk a cake in Dillinger.
Yeah, RK Blaze, we owe you something for sticking out this season. We appreciate you not abandoning the team after Valk did you such a grievous wound.
He just did you dirty.
He did. So, moving on to the big dogs, it's time to talk about Capone.
This is a fun stat I just barely realized.
Okay.
There was 4 total touchdowns in week 5 in Capone.
That is very true. Wow. There was 0 touchdowns for the Scourge of Saltspire? What's going on there?
Dude,
we'll get to it.
my defense is too good. Too strong.
We'll get to it. Starting at the top of the list, Aerial Assault versus the Bubonic Blighthawks. Aerial Assault, S. Hunter picking it up.
I think we both went with Aerial Assault.
Yep. He's got the tools. He's got the talent. Mateo has a great team, but elves are elfy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did the team survive? Looking at the statistics, only 1 injury inflicted by the Bubonic Blighthawks. So I'm going to say that is survival. Let's take a quick peek at Aerial Assault. 1560.
Healthy. 12 players and
healthy. Looking good.
Matt's team, let's take a look at it real quick.
Anything new here? Looks like everything's fairly the same. The Beast may have picked up Stand Firm. I don't remember if that was already present. But,
let me take a look at the SPP gangs. It was there going into the game.
Okay, they're going into the game. It looks like Stayhaz and Tox. So looking at the roster, Stayhaz did not pick up anything new, and Tox is this guy. Yeah, he was already there. So, yep. Just both teams staying healthy, looking good. Going back in, we had Boba's Bounty Hunters versus Team Happy Orcs, a 1-1 draw. I don't think either of us predicted this. I think I had Lockrust all the way.
I had Boba.
And they drew it for us, so I'd say our picks are accurate.
Yeah. I was going with the team that had Claw, Mighty Blow versus Orcs, and it kind of worked. They killed a Blodger. Or movement busted a Blodger, so I don't have to deal with that.
I think this Black Orc was already here with Movement 3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the Black Orc was already there, Movement 3, but the Blitzer with Blodge getting movement busted, that's new.
Yep, that Movement busted Blitzer, though, with Blodge, I think you keep that. I don't see a reason to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate, but the team's still continuing to progress. The thrower creeping very close. It's already a blodging sure hands thrower. It starts with sure hands, I think, but only 2 passes away from picking up another skill.
Yeah, and Fend would not be a bad choice for it.
Absolutely not. That'd be a good one. Possibly some argument for going with passing skills if he uses him as a passer, but no real receivers on the team. But yeah, so probably.
I saw you. You're just so salty this season. Every time we root against you.
Who are we rooting against? I'm sorry, I missed that.
S-Hunter, look in chat.
Minimal. Yep. Hey, that team is surprisingly resilient. Like I've been punching that team with Tackle Mighty Blow for many seasons now, and it always comes out okay.
Yeah, he always says that it's worse than it is, in my opinion, because most of my armor breaks come off of fouls against his team.
Yep. So, looking on down the list, Ender Shadow versus Maritime Marinated Meat. I know you can tell us a lot about this game, but Ender Shadow, I think, upsetting both of us.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch the entire thing.
Okay.
But
I did catch part
this
of it.
was a game. This was a game where Goblin Marine just couldn't do what he wanted to do. His killer got isolated, and it aided punch fouls, and Striker just did Striker things.
Yep. I remember coming in at the end of this game, and there were just, like, no goblins on the pitch. No Underworld on the pitch.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you remove them, and I couldn't remove them.
Yep. But other than a couple of goblins taking some, I think those are both MNGs, no real long-term damage. The roster still looking fairly healthy. We still have the killer, still have the movement up runner. And Ender Shadow, how are they looking these days? Up to 1390. Have the full complement of Saurus, have picked up another block Saurus, and picked up Tackle on Petra. So that's a great pickup. I want to see Break Tackle
Where's
next.
the shadowing? Where's the shadowing? I've been promised shadowing, and there's 0.
You know, I think shadowing is like the 4th and 5th skill on most of these players, but sensible picks for Striker, which is not something he's known for. Throwing shade.
Yeah.
No, I like the way this team is looking. I think some people would debate on the break tackle on the Crocs, but I'm fine with it. I like it.
No, I think it's fine at that point, especially.
Yeah.
But he uses it more than other people will, ever.
Yeah, I use it more than I think a lot of people would on my Crocs, but, you know,
That's
sometimes it's
passive
just fun.
compared to him.
Yeah, very, very true. So, last up then, Experiments Gone Wrong, Scourge of Skullspire. Did we talk about this one last week? Had this already been played, or what's the story?
It was already played, and I kind of gave a few hints, but it was a defensive brawl. It was also a turn 8. I was a GFI away from scoring again. No, it was a 1 in 9.
Tripwire.
1 and 9 this time. I had a reroll on a dodge and it didn't work. So better odds than last time.
Gotcha.
But
gotcha.
yeah, I could have won, and if I would have scored, then he would have been more aggressive in the second half. We had a couple of Mexican standoffs to begin each half.
Got it. So taking a peek then over at the leaderboard, Team Happy Orcs is still at the top of the board with 4-1-0. Followed by Golgothan with 3-2-0. So 2 technically undefeated teams at the top of the leaderboard. Followed by True Blue, Goblin Marine, and S Hunter. All in striking distance of the playoffs. Actually, playoffs is top 3 from this division. So
yeah,
Goblin Marine and S Hunter gunning it out for... Or they're gunning for you at this point, really, right?
Yeah, they're gunning for me, and hopefully gunning for Logcrest too after I bring them down this week.
Well, you will. I think Logcrest may be locked for at least the top 3 spot. I think I would have to look at it, but
I think if he loses out and let's say
Goblin Marine wins out, then it comes down to tiebreakers.
Yeah. So it's not impossible.
Unlikely. Pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
With that said, let's take a look at the matchups we have for the upcoming week. We've got Boba's Bounty Hunters versus Aerial Assault. What do you think for this one?
Boba has a team that can kill. And obviously, since he has a lot of Mighty Blow and block and all that sort of stuff, he won't be able to kill his team. So S Hunter's going to win. And then he's going to complain about armor breaks when not enough happen.
Yeah, S Hunter has dodge on all his important pieces, and really all S Hunter needs to win the game is like his blitzers, a couple linemen, and a couple catchers, and he's good. His thrower and his catcher. So like all he needs is like 4 of these pieces to win the game. And I think he more or less has it. There's no tackle on Boba's team, and these blodgers are going to be a nightmare to deal with no tackle. And Boba's team is Chaos, not Nurgle. I started to go down the Nurgle path of if you can prevent the passing game with the Disturbing Presence, but he doesn't have that going for him. So yeah, I think I'm going with S Hunter on this one as well. He just is able to, even if the Chaos does what it wants and removes a bunch of linemen and gets it down to 4 or 5 elves on the team, those elves are still going to do what they want in the end zone.
Yeah, I predict elves will make it out easy and only lose 75% of his roster. You have a healthy team, S Hunter. Like, I'm making jokes, and you have such a healthy team.
Yep, absolutely. Good looking team we got there. So, and I predict it will be just fine if light a couple of linemen next game. So, moving on to the next matchup, Bubonic Blighthawks versus Ender Shadow. That is Mateo versus Stryker in a battle of the big guys.
All right, hold on. Sorry, I was multitasking. You went with S Hunter, right?
I have not predicted it yet. S Hunter, yes, on the first one. Sorry, I was. Yeah, I'm half asleep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Matt versus Stryker.
Went with S Hunter. Stryker versus the Bubonic Blighthawks. What do you think on this one? Mateo and Stryker. I will say, I think off the bat, I like Claw and Block. I think I like the Nurgle team in this one.
That makes it easy for me. I was coin flipping, so I'm going to go with Mr. OD himself.
All right. Good stuff. That'll be a good match to watch. I think both of them have somewhat equally matched teams, but I like Claw a lot versus Lizards, so we'll see if that pays off. Team Happy Orcs versus Experiments Gone Wrong. Lockcrest versus the True Blue.
Yeah. Surprise, I'm picking myself. Oh yeah.
Gotta pick yourself.
It would have been much easier if one of my pieces didn't die a couple weeks ago against Goblin Marine. If you can't tell, I'm still salty about it.
Yep. You're still looking somewhat like a Lizard Man team over here. Block everywhere. Where's your killer? I don't see a killer.
Yeah, that's the piece that died, and I don't have the pieces to replace him just yet.
Yep.
But it's going to be a close game. I think I would have 100% had it if I still had my killer. But not having my killer, I think it'll be a tougher, more brawly game, which I think we can win. It'll just be very difficult. So,
let me take a look here and do some deeper analysis because I want to bet the Nurgle team in Nurgle versus Orcs. That's just kind of my default pick. So he is down a player, so linemen are 50k, so this is actually a 1390 team versus 1750. Wow, that is a huge amount of inducements.
yeah, he can get Ripper. It's fine.
I don't think Lockrest will take Ripper. I foresee here would be my game plan. I'm formatting how I would play it if I were taking on this matchup as the Orcs. What I'm seeing here, I think the potential weakness of your team is just getting the ball in the end zone because Nurgle tends to struggle with that a little bit, just in general.
1-9.
So a lightning bolt could be all he needs to keep you out of the end zone. So if he's able to receive first, make a quick touchdown, and then just passively defend and lightning bolt your scoring threat, I think he can take it down. So I'm going to go with Lockrest on this one, just because I always vote for Lockrest.
Homer.
Yep.
Yeah. I also have apparently 14 players. I need to maybe dump one. Who knows?
Yep. Possibly. You could definitely do some trimming there. Not going to make a huge difference in the inducement game.
Yeah.
So finally, the last matchup to predict for next week, we have the Maritime Marinated Meat versus the Scourge of Saltspire. This is epic battle of the rats. Different flavors of rats.
The Movement Busted Killers.
Yeah, the Movement Busted Killers. Who is the killeriest killer? I predict that a killer rat will die this game.
I hope so. And I hope it's both of them.
No, just one. This is the match to determine who is the...
If it's just one, Golgothon dies.
You know, that's the one I've been trying to kill for longer, but I think it could be Goblin Marines.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Who's going to win this matchup?
I think it's going to be Golgothan. Gutter Runners, they're way too good. He doesn't quite have the disturbing presence that I had to make it more difficult for him to bullshit his way through.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to leave him scoreless, and I don't know if Underworld can really win in a shootout.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one's played. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure that I've played any Skaven matches against.
Look at Golgothan's team.
What happened to Golgothan's team? What happened? We have an Agi 5 Gutter Runner. Is that what you're referring to?
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
if by beautiful nightmare. You mean it means to die.
Yeah, that almost makes the hit list by itself, I think.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm just like, can we hit list a level 2 piece?
if there is a level 2 piece that can be hit listed, I think it's an Agi Up Gutter Runner. Possibly an Agi Up War Dancer as well.
I would also argue Movement 10 Gutter.
Movement 10 Gutter is... I don't think it makes the hit list until it gets Sprint.
No, I'd argue it.
That's fair. I think it has to be level 3 on Movement 10 because it's not an automatic one-turner. There's still dice involved when they've got to throw blocks. And stand firm and sidestep and things like that stymie that one-turner. But once it's the natural one-turner, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. We got to kill it before it becomes a natural one, so that's why I'd argue it.
Fair enough.
Because once it's natural, it's never on the field except for its one turn.
You know, by that logic, though, I think all war dancers make the list because you just have to kill them before they're level 5.
A bit different.
Yep. Fair enough. So, that said, so you're going with the Scourge. Have I predicted yet? I don't think I have. I don't know how that matchup plays out. I have literally no idea how to predict this. So I'm going to go with Goblin Marine is just going to go on a murder fest. Kill that Agi 5 gutter. Kill the killer and poor Golgothan. All your rats.
He's not playing me, so he won't go on the murder fest. Gotham's gonna win.
He will have a Goblin Marine will have a fireball. So all he has to do is wait for that opening tight formation in the backfield. Attrition fireball the gutters. Golgothan, if you're listening, spread out your gutters on your opening formation because otherwise they'll just get fireballed and they'll all die. All right, I think that does it. Any closing words or any other topics we need to talk about?
2 seconds.
Any comments from chat?
Is there any love for the KO tournament? Because there's only 2 teams signed up, so I'm probably not even going to run it unless we get some last minute additions.
I will throw my hat in the ring on that one. I'll find a team and put into the KO tournament. What's the value on that one?
1,600.
1,600. All right, let's hype up the KO tournament. I love KO tournaments. They're short, they're sweet. You get some SPP. I will campaign for that one in chat this week.
I built Snarl out of KO tournaments.
Let's look at who is in the KO tournament at the moment. Is there one in here? Oh, you have not set it up.
I haven't set it up just because there's only 2 teams signed up.
Well, that
are even interested.
That I like the old way that we used to do KO tournaments. I say we just set it up and get people to sign their teams into it.
All right, I'll do that. I was just doing it the way I was doing everything.
I vote for going back to the old way because when it's there where everyone can see it, we can push those things through. I've done it before. I'll do it again. All right. That said...
all right, so, Big Chuck, you decide how many minute turns they are.
2-minute turns. Because 1 minute's too punishing.
All right, well, I had Kislev, so if you made it 1 minute, I was just going to lose immediately. 8 teams, right?
8 teams.
Okay. Aging off, permissions, no mixed teams, and no custom teams.
Perfect. So let's fill up that KO tournament, get that thing fired off this week if possible, and which I know we can. We've got plenty of good players in here good teams that want to get some extra development in for next season. We should be able to get this KO tournament wrapped up before next season. So if you have a team waiting in the wings you want to bring in, let's get them in there, get this hyped up, get some teams built.
Yeah. Take a look at my Kislev team while you're in there.
Let's see. Back, let's see if I can see it.
That's who it is! Alright.
Season 6.
I can't, Evan. I gotta remember. Crychair. Awesome. Awesome. Nice to see you in here, my friend.
Look at that beautiful Agi Up piece. Agi Up Mighty Blow piece on a Blitzer. Great looking team. Why aren't you playing these in the main league?
What?
Why not play this Kislev team in the main league?
Because they don't have enough Blitzer development yet.
Oh, come on. Who needs development? Just play TV 1000.
Just play TV 1000? This is like Squint's team.
Yep. No, those are fun teams. So I don't think I can fire enough. Joining the tournament live here on stream, I don't think I can fire enough of Skinky and Wernoit to get them into a KO tournament. So we're not going to do that. Sympathy for the Nurgle. How many players is this? Oh, we can definitely make this happen. So Nosferatu we have to keep around. This guy's just some random. So bye. And that puts us on 1590.
That's all you have to get to.
And so we go bump. Where's the join competition button? Oh, here
bottom
we go.
right.
There we go. Register. And there we have it. Sympathy for the Nurgle coming in to annihilate all your teams that you want to build. So you have to deal with Mighty Blow, Tackle, Claw, nothing else, an Agi4, Pestigore, and some of the greatest punny names that you've ever heard in your life.
The punny names. Oh man, I can't wait for my Agility 5 catcher just to leap all over you.
Bring him on. Bring him on. He will.
Yeah, all I have to do is lightning bolt you because I'll get a wizard. Yep. Lightning bolt you, leaping with my Agility 5 catcher, and then even with the disturbing presence, I'll just throw it out to my Agility 4 blitzer, and I'll just score.
That is one way to attempt to do that, and the other way that can go is we'll just kill your entire team and walk it in 1-0.
You won't kill my entire team. They're too good. Too much wrestle. Too strong.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching the recap. Get your teams into that KO tournament. It'll be a lot of fun. Looks like we have dwarves getting in there, and I'm sure we'll have an onslaught of elf teams wanting to join the elf fray. Any other closing words?
No, that's it.
All right. Thanks everyone. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.